Okay, this is the second video for empirical and molecular formulas. We had just gone through this example where we found the empirical formula to be C3H3O. Now, let's figure out the molecular formula for this. So first, your steps for finding a molecular formula. First, you have to have an empirical formula. If it gives you grams, we need to solve empirical formula using the process we just talked about in the first video. Sometimes it might be nice to you and give you the empirical formula, but I'll tell you right now there is one on your test where you need to find empirical and molecular. Once you have your empirical, then we need to calculate the molar mass of our empirical formula. You have to be given molar mass of molecular formula. It will give it to you in the problem. Otherwise, you can't do anything. So if it says molar mass of something, odds are it's of your molecular formula. Now, we're going to take the molar mass we found up here in part 1 and the molar mass that it gives us for the molecular. We're going to take molecular molar mass divided by the empirical molar mass. That gives us a multiplier. It's going to be a whole number. It has to be a whole number. If this is not a whole number, something went wrong. That is the number that tells us how many times bigger our molecular formula is compared to our empirical formula. We take that multiplier and we apply it to our subscripts in our empirical formula. So let's use this same example from up here, C3H3O, and let's look at calculating molecular formula. So the molar mass of the compound in the previous example is 110 grams per mole. Determine the molecular formula of this compound. Okay, we have C3H3O, that's our empirical formula for our unknown compound. Now, when it says the molar mass of the compound, it is talking about the molecular compound, not the empirical compound. So this molar mass that it gives you, that is the molar mass of our molecular formula. It will be given to you. That's what it gives us here. So, our first step, we have our empirical formula. We need the molar mass of our empirical formula. Okay, so our empirical formula was this here, my C3. I'm just rewriting it so that it's all in one spot, my C3H3O. I need the molar mass of that. So, carbon, I have 3 of them. Each carbon is 12.01. Hydrogen, I have 3 of them. Each hydrogen is 0.008. Oxygen, I only have 1 oxygen. My oxygen is 16. If I add all of these up together, so 3 times 12.01, 3 times 12.01 equals 36.03. 3 times 1.008 gives me 3.024. And then 1 times 16 is 16. If I add those up together, 36.03 plus 3.024 plus 16, I get 55.054 grams per mole as my empirical formula molar mass. That's my first step for my molecular formula. Calculate molar mass of EF. Then I need to do this math, this ratio. So I need the molar mass of my molecular formula. Again, that will be given to you. That is my 110. That is the molar mass of my molecular formula. Then I divide that by the molar mass of my empirical formula. So molar mass of empirical formula, I'm doing a lot of abbreviations. That's what we just calculated here to be 55.054. So 55.054. When I divide those two, 110 divided by 55.054, I get 1.998. Well, that's pretty close to a whole number. Really close, actually. I can round that to be my multiplier of 2. That's this second part. Make a ratio, it equals our multiplier. Then we apply the multiplier to the subscripts in the empirical formula. So here's my empirical formula. This is my multiplier. To apply this to my subscripts, I'm going to multiply them. So I'm going to take my 2 times that 3. Then I'm going to take this 2 times that 3. Then I'm going to take my 2 times the 1 of my oxygen. So ultimately, I get C, not 3 anymore, but 3 times 2 gives me C6. And then H, it's not a 3 anymore. It's 3 times 2, H6. And then O, it's not just 1 oxygen anymore. I now have 2 oxygens. So C6H6O2, that is my molecular formula. Hope that was helpful. It's a long process. My suggestion is to practice these 3. There are worksheets online if you want some more practice, or the worksheet 4 does a lot of good examples. Even if you just try practicing the same examples that you've done already over and over again, then it should help you with the process. Hope that was helpful. Good luck studying.